This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me Trevis with PlayerProps.ai, and this is what we're looking at for Week 3 NFL Survivor. If you listened to what I told you to do in Week 1 and Week 2, well guess what? You're still alive. This is specific, okay, let me rephrase that. This is for any NFL Survivor pool. You don't have to be in the one that I'm in. It's still helpful information. But a lot of the stuff I go over is specific to the contest I'm in that, as you see up top, is over $18 million to the last survivor. It is the largest NFL Survivor pool on planet Earth. And we are currently advancing to Week 3. Reviewing Week 2 was very, very, very crazy and chaotic. We had the Dallas Cowboys, and if you didn't remember, if you didn't see in the emails that we sent out in the Discord post, we had a PlayerProps.ai community meetup at the Patriots and Dolphins game in Miami. So while I'm watching the Dolphins blow a lead by allowing a kickoff return touchdown, immediately following a punt return touchdown, and then having A-Chain score a touchdown and then get called back because he stepped out of bounds on the 20, and then we don't score, and then they win by whatever the point was for that. So I'm watching this game like there at the stadium, and then I also have the Dallas Cowboys New York Giants game because it's ending roughly at the same time. And when I think the Dallas Cowboys scored a go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter, was like the same time that the Dolphins didn't score or essentially lost the game. And me with my Dolphins stuff, Dolphins, jersey on, like as soon as that happened, I'm looking at my phone as well, and they score. Dallas scores a touchdown, I think it was CeeDee Lamb, and I'm like, yeah. And everybody's looking at me like, wait a second, this guy's been a Dolphins fan the entire game, and then he's cheering that they lost. It wasn't cheering that they lost. It was cheering that the other thing that is going to win me $18 million worked out. But then again, of course, Russell Wilson has a career game. It comes down to a 64-yard Brandon Aubrey field goal to send it to OT with no time left, and he hits it because he is the GOAT. And then in overtime, as time expires, so by the way, if you don't know this, in Survivor, if there's a tie, because ties can happen in NFL, you lose because you're picking a team to win. You're not picking a team not to lose. You're picking them to win. So ties will be a loss for you. But yeah, thanks to Brandon Aubrey being the GOAT, we are still alive on our 18 million trek, and it was very chaotic, and I'm glad that it worked out in our favor. So this is a site that we've been using for the last year and a half, 2 years now for this contest. The site you see up here is called Survivor Atlas. It's a free site. We don't have any affiliation or partnership with them. It's just something that we like to use because it's extremely helpful. The things to pay attention to is that this is specific. So the numbers here in availability and Thanksgiving and Christmas picks are specific to this contest. So here on the top left, you see that we started with 18,717 entries. The prize pool is over 18 million, as you see right above my head. And there has not been a bloodbath yet. Last season, like the top team lost like the first 3 weeks, and so a lot of people got eliminated quick. That hasn't happened yet. I could put up a graphic here that I think a Twitter account is Survivor Edge maybe, but they put this graphic together to show who won, who lost out of all the favorite or all the people that were picked for the Circa Survivor. So we'll show that on screen, but there's, 2 weeks down, and there's still 17,000 entries. We need to have a bloodbath, and we can't have it be our pick. Because even though last year there was a bloodbath in the first 5 weeks, 60% got knocked out, there were still, I believe, 6, 7, 8 people maybe that went 20-0. So in order to win this, you have to go 20-0, because on top of the 18 weeks, you also have to pick an individual turkey pick, an individual Christmas pick, and they both have to win. So there's 20-0 you have to go to win. And even though there was a crazy bloodbath at the beginning, because there's so many entries, there was like 6 or 7 people who went 20-0, and they all split the big prize, which I think they took home like 1.7 million each, which of course made them millionaires, nothing to scoff about. But there's even more people playing, and there's more entries, and there's not a bloodbath. So we need a bloodbath soon, or there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go 20-0, in theory. So availability here is how many entries out of the remaining entries. So there's 16,965 left. This is saying that 46% of them have Arizona. I picked Arizona week 1. A lot of people picked Arizona last week. And so only 46% of entries have them. 73% have Baltimore left. 59% have Denver. So you see the theme here. This shows you what percentage of the remaining alive entries has what team available. And then the other thing to pay attention to is FSV. This number here, this minus 22, this is factored by taking all of the spreads for this team the entire season and adding them together. If it's a very big negative number, like minus 129 for Baltimore, that means that they are favored. They're such a heavy favorite in so many games that minus 8 plus minus 9.5 plus minus 14 Patriots. All of that collectively adds up to minus 129. So as I mentioned in the previous episodes, your goal, if you actually plan to win a survivor pool, is to focus on teams that do not have a high negative FSV here. Because why would I pick Baltimore against Detroit in week 3 that are minus 5.5 when they're favored in almost every single game? So the teams that are great teams, like the Baltimore Ravens, like the Buffalo Bills, you want to keep them in your back pocket. You want to have to go through all of the gauntlet of teams that are only going to be favored that much in that week that you're playing them. Arizona Cardinals, we picked them week 1 because that was the best favorite point spread they had the entire season. Dallas Cowboys against the Giants, that was their highest point spread the entire season. And so that's how it's going to go. We're going to focus on the team 3 that has as high of a positive FSV rating as possible, that is not going to be more favored than they are in week 3. Hopefully that all made sense for you. So let's see what we have here. We're going to go to week 3. We're going to tap on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to sort by spread specific to week 3. So you see Buffalo's got the highest spread for week 3, get the Thursday night game against the Dolphins, minus 12.5, and it just cascades down. Again, availability is how many surviving entries that are still left have that team available. And then, of course, on the far right, we pay attention to FSV. I just mentioned that you want to keep in your back pocket the biggest negative numbers. Bills, minus 103. We want to back pocket that. Green Bay, who's doing pretty decent so far this season, minus 63. We're going to try to keep them in the back pocket because down the road when we might need them, week 14, they're 9.5 point favorites over the Bears. They're a team that plays on Thanksgiving, so we might want to factor that into keeping them in our back pocket. 17. We go one more down and there's 17. So not only is this not a negative number, but it's the only positive number for a team that's favored by 3.5 or higher. Because if we go down here to the Colts are plus 29. This might change because the Colts are actually outperforming anybody's expectations. They're minus 3 against Tennessee. But if you add all of it together, they're pretty much underdogs in every game, so they come to plus 29. So out of all the teams that are favored by 3.5 points, which is Washington and everything above, so here, let me scroll. I just realized you couldn't see that on screen. So Washington here, Las Vegas, they're favored by 3.5. Every team that's 3.5 and higher, there's only one team that has a positive FSV. Again, you want to focus on the positive ones when they are favored, because that means they're not going to be too favored for the rest of the season. Seattle Seahawks, they're versus the New Orleans Saints. They are 7.5 point favorites. The next game where they are more than a field goal is Tennessee Titans, and that is it. So we have the Saints where they're favored by more than a touchdown. We have a minus 3.5 against Tennessee, and then against the Colts, minus 3, which this may be different because the Colts, again, are outperforming expectations. There is no other game that they are favored by a touchdown or more. There's only one other game where they're favored by more than a field goal. That's why they have a plus 17 FSV. And this is just, again, you're adding all of the numbers together there. So, in theory, Seattle would be the best possible pick. Are they going to be the favorite pick? Again, not everybody pays attention to how you should plan out your entire season. A lot of people just say, oh, Buffalo is 12.5 favorites over Miami. They were actually like 14 points, I think, at some point during Monday. And now they have, I get my dog walking behind me. Now they have a game where they're 12.5, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, Buffalo, it's gonna be an easy win. It'll probably be an easy win. The Dolphins are driving me crazy again this year. They should have won the game. They should have won both games, but again, bad decision making. So Buffalo's gonna get picked because people aren't factoring in that you need to keep the minus FSV teams to the end. Green Bay, the same thing. People are gonna pick them because, oh, the Browns suck. But the thing you have to pay attention to is who is going to be favored in the week you are looking at, and they're not going to be that favored for the rest of the season. And that's what we've done in week 1 with the Cardinals. That's what we did week 2 with the Cowboys. Luckily, they had Brandon Aubrey. In week 3, it looks like we're doing the same thing. There's no game this season that they are going to be anything close to minus 7.5. The Saints are starting Spencer Rattler still, which means they're tanking. They're trying to get one of the quarterbacks of the draft. Maybe they're trying to get the number 1 overall pick, which I think in theory of what the interweb is saying is going to be Arch Manning. But after Arch Manning started his career this season, not that great. Who knows who's going to be the first overall pick? But the Saints are going to try to get to it because I don't think Spencer Rattler is the answer. Seattle had a nice upset last week as well. So I think, Sam Darnold took the Vikings to a 15-2 record, and he's warming up. They have a great running back. They have a great receiving core, even though they lost DK. And they had a pretty decent tight end too. So I think what we're going with here, I think we're going with Seattle over New Orleans because it just makes sense. It's not like it's a formula. Which team is a positive FSV and is very favored this week? And those two things put together, it's Seattle. So all you have to do is go to SurvivorAtlas.com, look at this map, and go from there. So we click this, it'll actually cross out like, oh, you can't pick these for the rest of the game. So if you're like playing around with sorting this stuff, it'll actually block out. Like if I'm sorting by week 15, it'll remind me here, like, oh, by the way, you can't pick Seattle because you say you're going to lock them in week 3. So that's what that stuff means. But yeah, you can play around. It's a fun little interactive map here. But that's where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know how many people, if you're not playing this $18 million league, let me know how many people are left in your league. I'm curious. I'm intrigued, if you will. But yeah, good luck, guys, and we'll see you on our next video.